Hi, everyone. My name's Arjun Paliwal, Head of Research and founder at InvestorKit. I've got a dear friend and valued client of ours, Renji, who's here on the call with me. And today we thought we'd have a discussion together just to go deeper into the portfolio that Renji's built together with ourselves and the journey that he's been on. I'm hoping this inspires many of you who are on this portfolio building journey to get started, take action, because the results can be life-changing when you do. And I hope this gives you some more context on the journey we had together as well. So Renji, how are you? And thank you for joining.
Thank you, Arjun. Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well, my friend. So, mate, let's take it back. 2019, we connected, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Sound right to you?
Absolutely. Yep, that's right. So that was the time around 2018, 2019. I was really interested in, in the themes of financial independence and passive income. And then I realized that in Australia, the way things work, property is a good way to do it. And by that time, I had moved in from my like a townhouse to my own house, which I built. And we had rented out the townhouse. And then we realized that when the rents are coming in, it's kind of helping me with the mortgage and stuff. And it's just doing its own thing passively. And we didn't have to do much. But then I realized that I won't be able to do it by myself going forward, because I live in Canberra, and I just didn't want to be, just restricted to Canberra, because I knew there are markets out there which could help me with my journey. And that's when I started thinking about buyer's agent. And luckily I found you.
Well, this is something all too common, right? I call that the the accidental investor, right? Because you bought the townhouse and you're living there, correct? And
Yes.
you bought a really nice house, lovely house in the area of Throsby in Canberra.
That's
and
right.
You turned that into investment. So it's almost like it became an investment accidentally. Do you
That's
see
right.
this is quite common, like across friends and other circles? They have the same city, the backyard, changing from home to investment becomes an investment. Do you see that quite commonly?
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, people just do that once and then just stop it there. But then I found out that this is a powerful tool. Property has been a powerful tool, and I realized the power of leveraging that I could do with the banks giving me a loan and stuff like that. But then I didn't want to be just restricted to Canberra, and I thought a buyer's agent would be someone who could help me with the journey. And then I started looking into property forums and things like that, and I came across a few spruikers which I didn't like, where they said they'll be building a new home in an area where there's a lot of houses coming, and that didn't make sense to me. And then luckily, one of the forums, I saw a few people suggesting your name, and that's when I reached out to you, which I could say we changed our lives for sure.
Well, I mean, looking back at that moment, Renji, you obviously are someone who does a lot of research and you do your own research, and I know you take pride in that. And you would have obviously heard of other buyers agents, other professionals. What made you feel comfortable in going, hey, let's work with these guys?
Yeah, definitely the first meeting that I had with you, where I think we spoke for around 1.5 hours, I think.
You had a lot of questions.
Yeah, just the way I, felt about things. And when you ran me through some like the strategies and the numbers that I could achieve, it was just amazing. Like for people who don't know, me and Bency, we are just normal. Like we are not very high earning couple, but decent enough. But then with the numbers that you ran for us, it felt like that we could do it. And that first meeting with you, where you came across as very honest and reliable, and in my gut, it just felt right. And yeah, rest is the journey that we have been doing.
Well, let's look at that first investment, Renji. So you made this in 2019, and there's a few things that stand out to me with that. The first investment was firstly in a regional city. And I know Sydney-siders and Melbourners get like heart attacks when they hear like, oh my God, not an apartment in Sydney, not in Sydney or Melbourne, in a regional city. I think it helped that you lived in Canberra, so it's not as big of a city and you've seen how well Canberra's performed. But what were your main comforts for going outside of what many people think is a danger zone or a comfort zone for them? Sorry.
Yeah, initially, when I told you about the strategies that I was looking for, and I did not want to outlay a big amount of rent, because I also have a family with 3 kids who are in school and things like that. So I knew that if I go into a big market like Sydney or Melbourne, and I'll be just stuck with the one property. And as you say, don't put all your eggs in the one basket. So I just kind of felt that is not the way I want to do things. And then you are the one who suggested about regionals, and then you ran the numbers with me, and that just made so much sense that the rent itself was covering for more than the mortgage and even the rates and things like that. And I couldn't believe that there are properties out there which could do that. Like, because when you see in big cities, the rent is not even covering half your mortgage. And that's not what we wanted to do. We just wanted to keep our lifestyle as it is, because kids are in school. There are so many expenses coming up. So we wanted a journey which is sustainable, and where once we buy a property, and you, by the way, you give great team that take care of the property. So that's another plus for people like us who are time poor. So that made so much sense. And once you buy the property and get everything set, we hardly have to spend any more time. There's an occasional email saying something needs something worked upon, and you just reply to them, and it's all taken care of. And that's how it felt right for us, and that's how we started the journey with you.
So from a strategy perspective, what we targeted affordability, growth locations, healthy rental yield, and extremely easy to find a tenant, right? Now, the beauty of this was none of these 4 things are what the color of the house is, what the name of the city is, capital or regional, brick or weatherboard. You became more and more open on this journey to properties. But let's take a look at that first property. So we bought in Bendigo in the regional Victoria city. And I believe you'd bought that for around 340,000. Does that sound right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Now we had the latest valuation come back for that. And I'm just looking at my screen here. That was $586,000. Wow. So that's what 250K gain. Now we then went into a pretty crazy period, right? We went from Bendigo to then the whole world is upside down, and we're in COVID and things have gone crazy. Yeah. Now, most people during this time, they sat down, they did nothing. And, your family wasn't the typical family. Like your wife, Bency, is, a frontline worker. Yeah. And in this period, it would have been even more challenging for you guys in this household. But yet, you guys still wanted to grow your wealth. Why do you think that was for you? And what was the key part mentally, or as a family, you guys felt we should still keep investing?
Yeah. To be honest, when initially everything started off, it did feel a bit scary, and we weren't sure what's going to happen next. But within like 2-3 months, it became clearer that RBA and the government is going to try and do everything it's possible to, sustain everything. And the rates became really low, and the government was giving out, job seeker, so many things. And then we realized that there's no point just holding on to the savings that we had, and there's no point for putting it into our owner-occupied mortgage, because we had fixed that into a very good small rate, and the money was just sitting there, wouldn't make any sense. And of course, we had you as our team. And when we reached out to you again, then you said, yes, things are still happening, we can still buy. And then, as always, you again came up with a good property, which made so much sense, and the numbers look really good. And I thought, COVID's there, but people's always going to need somewhere to live, and that's not going to change. And this is before that tree change and sea change people started. So I think timing wise, we got it right. So yes, me and Bency had a chat, and we said, okay, we don't have to wait. We can go ahead and do it one more time with you. And that's when I think we bought in Adelaide.
Yeah. So this next purchase was in Adelaide, right? And you'd purchased that in the 400s as well. So the same strategy: affordability, high market pressure for capital growth, healthy rental yield, and extremely easy to find a tenant. Yeah. So I guess on this next purchase in Adelaide, it was in the 400s and low 400s, around 420, if I'm not mistaken. Does that sound right to you?
Yes.
So with this purchase here, you've now made 2 purchases that are not in your home city. They're never been seen by you physically before. I don't think you've still seen them. Have you seen them yet? So, so what made you feel comfortable around those 2 points?
Yeah, by the first time we bought with you, we found out that the team that you assemble is extremely good. Like you buy it and then everything is taken care by the team. And as I said, there's an occasional email and you just reply to that email and things are being taken care of. And then we felt confident that we don't have to be there. As you said, like you buy a share in Apple, you don't go and see Apple's office and buy it, you just buy it. So same way, we felt confident that we can do it out of our own backyard, and the numbers made more sense there. And yeah, we were happy to go ahead and do that. And thanks to your team who helps us in the cities where you do our video walkthrough and the property inspection reports. And then finally, once finding a good tenant, and then once the tenant moves in, the day-to-day things for them, all those teams are really good. And that definitely helped us with that one.
I noticed something about this journey as well when we were on and purchasing property. One thing that I realized that you did really well on this journey is you've kind of had that mentality of like, leave it to the experts.
Yeah.
And I guess when I think of that moment, I think of the Adelaide purchase in particular. And we had our comparable price range when we share with you, hey, look, don't worry about the listing online. These agents are under listing. Let's not get spooked by their game. And they make 50 to 100 people show up at the open. It goes crazy. And then it feels like you're overpaying and then you don't want to put the right amount in. You were there. The comparable range was way higher than the listing price, but you said, no, you know what? Go for it, right? Just have the range agent, just go for it, feel what you think is right, and we can go for it from there. When you think back of that journey, what makes you feel comfortable in acting in this way versus going, no, I want you to pay 400 maximum and that's 400 maximum. What makes you feel comfortable in that?
I guess I always trusted you in that sense that you knew the things that's happening on the ground, and me sitting here in Canberra, I thought, okay, let you make that judgment call and go from there. And also the fact that you had given us that excellent result from the first purchase increased our confidence. And to be honest, none of our friends have ever used a buyer's agent, so we were one of the first to use them, and they all saw the results and they were amazed as well. And as you know, few of them then reached out to you to go through your agency, and they all came back with really positive feedback as well. So that gave me the confidence that if you tell me a value that is worth for a property, then there is the chance that capital gains and the rental yields will be there for me to cover the inflation or the rate hike. As you know that the rate hikes for the mortgage are coming, but then the rents have been, the markets that you find me are so rental, the rental is so tight that it's always good to get really good tenants, and they keep up with or even more than the rate hikes have been going. So that way I was very confident to go with the prices that you were suggesting me to do.
Well, there's a study that comes to mind about the rental piece you pointed at. It was an Oxford study, and they always say that the real housing demand should not be measured by the value of prices or what someone's willing to pay for price. It should be valued by rent, because the rental demand, no one looks at a property and goes, oh, wow, it's amazing. I can't wait to pay 500 tomorrow and I'm paying 420 today. No one does that. If it's going to cost them 500, they got to pay 500. But whereas with the house, people go in and they're like, oh, this is worth 420 today, but you know what? It'll be worth 500 tomorrow. I think I should pay 440. And so 450. And so that's speculation. So I think the beauty about rental demand, there's no speculation. It's real, raw, and it's there. But Renji, this was when the corner changed for you, and you didn't go to something that was a little bit of a neater property. I tested you a lot in this last purchase. We made a purchase in Bundaberg. And in Bundaberg, this property, the carpets were gross. The maybe parts of the finishes were, not quite nice, needed a bit of love. And this was something where in your portfolio, most of the properties were modern. They did not need much works. This is the first time you now did works. And can you explain to the journey of what the power of doing some touch-ups on the property was from that rental perspective when you went to list this property for rent? What were the results that you felt?
Yep. With the Bundaberg one, yeah, that was a bit different. That it was not shiny at the beginning, but then as you suggested, and as I also saw, that it had good bones in it, and it just needed minor things, and I was happy to go ahead and do it, because as you have been helping me, there is a wonderful team behind it to do all the stuff. All I have to do is say yes or no, and things were getting done. So there was nothing much from my side that had to go like a hands-on do something there. So that way, I think we did a carpet change and replaced one of the air cons, and which was done very easily, and I didn't have to do much anything at all. And the team there did all that work. And by the time the work was done and gave it a thorough clean, it looked really nice, and the rentals were just blow our mind away. Yeah, it went more than what we expected within even one opening, I think, open house. Yeah.
How much did we achieve again? Can you remember how much we got?
We started off with 450, but that tenant had to move out or something, and now it's gone for 480 again.
Yeah, and you'd purchased that property in the low 400s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So mate, you've made 3 purchases over the last 2 years and 2 and a bit years. As you mentioned, it's not like the household is this huge income that's ready to, as a business owner, go purchase multiple properties. You've really slugged it out the hard way and taken decisions during times where people were fearful, people were unsure of if the world is going to be upside down or not. When you look at this though, at the same time, these 3 purchases, the fees weren't cheap. Yeah. You worked with us 3 multiple occasions now, and looking at the 4th ahead, and as the future progresses, this is close to $40,000 in fees, Renji, if not more. How have you felt about that? If you take a step back in terms of, hey, look, what if I didn't spend that 40,000? What if I did it by myself? What if I went and did a course? What if I did that? How do you think about all of that now? What are your thoughts on the value of that?
Yeah, with the very first one, I was a bit apprehensive, as you know, I did not have anyone else to refer your name. I found you out and then went from there. But then, as I said, the way we talked, and it's a big decision. It's a property for around 300 and something, and at that scheme of things, that fees was, I felt it was reasonable for the amount of service that you were giving, and I had that extra confidence and comfort that you guys have done the research. And like, I am a computer engineer, and someone else just coming for a couple of days and doing that work is not the same as I doing it. So I felt the same way about you. You are the expert, leave it with you. And with the, as you said, the capital gains examples that you gave, the fees that you charged, it doesn't even, figure. It's so minute compared to the capital gains that you achieved for us. And I feel that people shouldn't be worried about that small amount you pay up front, but then if you get it right, you get it really right, and that makes big difference. Because I did not have the confidence or the time to go and research at the macro level or the micro level and find a good property. And I felt that fees was really worth paying and getting the good outcome for that.
No, thanks, Renji. I'll definitely tell the team to increase them for the next one. So I'm kidding, man. So I think, looking at this journey here, you've taken the portfolio from a backyard investor or accidental investor in Canberra to now across 4 states when you include the Canberra place, and 5 properties. It's nothing short of inspirational what you've done, my friend. And with these 3 properties, if you look at the Bendigo one, purchased at 340, bank valuation high 5s, that's just close to 250,000 in valuation gain. Then you've got the Adelaide one purchased in the low 4s. I just have the valuation in front of me at 565 here, ANZ desktop valuation. So that's now that 250 plus an extra 130, that's 380. And then your Bundaberg one is sitting at close to 500K from a low 4s. So that's almost $500,000 in growth, just over 400,000, 450,000 in growth. I can see totally where you come from when you think of that fees versus that's a 10 times plus return. Do you have any advice looking for others who are on this journey? Maybe their first property, maybe their 10th property. They are going through times right now where the world is changing. Supply chains are disrupted, interest rates are rising, they're unsure, but yet they want to build wealth, they want to create a passive income. And what you've done to date is inspirational. Do you have any advice for others who are on this journey thinking about it or wanting to get started?
Yeah, definitely. If passive income and financial independence is something that you're interested in, I think property is a really good tool, the way things are structured in Australia at the moment. And I know shares are easier to buy and hold and things like that, but the powerful thing with property is the leveraging that the banks give you. But then just going and buying something which doesn't work with your strategy is not the way to do it. I would definitely encourage people to do a bit more study, and then the team is definitely going to help you with the long-term strategy and the long-term gain. If you do by yourself, I don't know how people might be able to do it, but if you are someone like me who is time poor, and if you have a family to look after, the kids are still small, things like that, the team makes a huge difference. And I would say you wouldn't regret it. And everyone needs a house to live in. And the way that Arjun's team finds properties, they are in the markets which there's amazing rental returns. And once you buy the property, you don't even spend any time for it. You just get an occasional email where you just reply to them saying, okay, go ahead and do it. I like to be a landlord who gets the things done properly for the tenants so that they also have a comfortable life. And then that's about it. And at the end of the financial year, you just get a statement from your agent and you just give it to your accountant and it's all taken care of. And as Arjun said, it's like me working, Bency's working, and these properties are also working for us. So it's like, 5 of us working for the future, better future for us, and then earning those passive income. We can cut down on our hours and then spend more time with the kids. It's really amazing. And I think you guys, if you are sitting on the edge, if you're sitting on the fence, just have a talk to Arjun and his team, and I feel you won't regret it. That's for sure.
Well, mate, thank you so much for the kind words. Very inspirational journey that you've had, and wishing you nothing but the success ahead. And the kids, I think, they've got such great support from you too with what you've been building. So I have no doubt that the future is looking very bright. So thanks again for joining us, Renji, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you, Arjun.